excited about it. Never really did a stream on YouTube / Kick, so this will be fun to see how it goes. But I want to just kind of walk through the process of customizing the Air Force One. This design is really simple, so it's a great first like custom for mini because it's just a simple color block. Anybody can handle that, so I'm gonna get right into it. Okay, so I said I'm gonna get right into it, but honestly, I'm gonna take time to make sure my stream is actually recording because it's the first time I did this ever in life. So, Ayo is working there. Now let's go YouTube, double check. Oh, and I know this is kind of annoying and it's gonna be long, so I'm gonna have like chapters so you guys can just click through. So if you just don't want to listen and watch this whole stream, you know where to go in the description. You can get where you need to go quick. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we here. I just don't know why it didn't Okay, cool. I don't know why it's not in my creator dashboard. That is very annoying. But I'm gonna get into it. I can't worry about the little stuff. Okay, so first we're gonna prep the shoe. We're gonna get some sandpaper. Oh, that right here. Now this isn't as fine as I would like. I don't know if that helps at all. It's not as fine as I would like, but I've been doing this long enough. I know I can still get what I need done. I just can't press as hard as I usually do. So you can't see, but which is kind of the point. Like I'm slowly sanding the finish off. They want that to stay like that, so I'm not going to sand that finish off because we need that finish. But this finish I don't need because I want the paint to adhere to it. So I'm going to go ahead and when you do this, be careful not to hit the threads. That's one of the hardest. It's one of the biggest mistakes I did when I first started customizing. Like you don't want to hit these because then you fram and they don't look as clean, and there's really nothing you can do about it besides like try to cut it, but it's usually too short to cut, so it just ends up looking kind of bad. So now if you like sand this, it's cool. So I tend to go a little bit lower than higher because if you sand the rubber, it doesn't affect it at all. It doesn't affect the look. So yeah, so don't sand the ones that you want to keep. Sand the areas you are actually going to paint. I think I'm going to leave this white. Not sure yet. I might paint it in, but like let's get everything else done and see how it looks. So we're not going to sand this. We can always do it later. If you're thinking about painting something, or if you think about not painting something, just leave it blank because you can always sand it later. You don't want to sand it and then you're like, oh shoot. So we got that out of the way. I'm going to do the other shoe later just so this can be a little bit quicker. Now it's time to get the acetone. I feel like the sanding helps with the adhesion. You know, it creates little divots so the paint has somewhere to go to stick to. But the acetone is like what really gets the finisher off so your paint can fully stick. I mean, I think they're both important. But one is just kind of like, the acetone is just kind of like clean it up to make sure like, okay, we for real. There's no more finisher on this bad boy. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's kind of annoying. Like, I don't want to have to do that to my shoe. But trust me, you don't want to have to spend 10 hours on a shoe, right? And then a client or yourself is like, oh man, my shoe was peeling. You know, you don't want that. It truly doesn't take that long. So just go ahead and do it. I know it sucks. Now what I'll do is I have to paint this swoosh, and you notice that I didn't put any sandpaper on the swoosh. That was on purpose because there's so many threads on here. It's so easy to mess them up. Like I said, you don't want to sand the threads. So what I do is I'll just wait for the acetone part, and then I'll take the finisher off with the acetone alone. Like, I love doing double trouble with the sandpaper and the acetone, but you know, sometimes it's better just to take it to do one to save the threads. Okay. And if you don't remember, because I have ADHD, so sometimes I forget, like, did I acetone this section? Just go ahead and redo it. Like, it's not going to hurt anything. It's better to do it twice than to not do it once. Now, I will notice, like, this is a very small adult shoe, but if you get a kid's shoe, it's way easier to take the acetone. Oops, sorry about that. Thanks for stopping through. But if you get a kid's shoe, it's way easier to take the acetone to, like, take the white paint. I don't know what you call it, the white paint or the white leather off if you have a kid's shoe. So if you see gray like peeking through a kid's shoe when you first do it, don't freak out. That's normal. You'll paint over it. But you might, just because the kid's shoe is a little bit cheaper, like made a little bit cheaper than the adult shoe, like, you'll be fine. Just don't put as much pressure on, you know, when you acetone it. It'll happen and it's okay, but to alleviate that, just don't put as much pressure on. But if you get the gray sticking out, it's not a big deal. Alright, so the next step is the actual painting process. I have to mix some paint together because you always want to get Angelus paint, always. Like, there's other paints out there, but you want to make sure you get a flexible leather paint. And as far as customizing, everybody, like pretty much everybody, uses Angelus because it's readily available. It's hard to find like Joann's and stuff, but it's readily available, as in like online. It's easy to find. You don't have to. You can find it on Joann's.com and Michaels.com, and shipping doesn't take forever. And then you can also use coupons from Joann's and Michaels, you know, so that makes it even cheaper. And the shipping doesn't take forever. It's not like overseas, so Angelus is definitely a good quality paint to use. So they want a navy blue, so I'm gonna take this blue and make it a little bit darker with this black. I'm not excited about mixing that together because I'm very low on blue. But I also have some thinner, which is what people use to thin the paint, primarily when you use airbrushing. But right now, since I'm down to like the last wire of blue paint, it's kind of a thicker consistency. Because when you get down to the wire, I don't know why the paint just thickens. I don't know if it has more oxygen to whatever with science, I guess. But it gets a little bit thicker. So I'm going to thin it out a little bit to make sure my shoes don't crack. Because if you put thick paint on shoes, they naturally crease when people walk. Sorry about that. They naturally crease when people walk. And you don't want it to crack. So you always want to thin it out. It's just a little thick. And Angelus says that with the thinner, it's not going to... What did they say? It's not going to something the flexibility. It's not going to hinder the Let me just read what they said. Angelus Too Thin will not hinder the flexible properties of Angelus acrylic paint. So, it's better to have it too thin almost than to have it too thick. Because if it's too thick, it definitely will crease and people will complain. Okay, so I have my small paintbrush. Since this is a small shoe, forgive me for not cleaning my mixing container because it looks like crap. But I kind of like it though. I don't know. I like doing it like this because then I can really tell the difference. But I guess if it was white, I'd be able to tell the difference too. So just forgive me for that. So we're going to do the orange is easy. The orange paint I already have. I don't need to mix it. But oh, one more step. I forgot. Before you touch anything white that you need to do when you touch paint, just double check and make sure your hands aren't dirty. Because you can easily smudge something on some white and it's very hard to backtrack. So I didn't get any on me and I didn't get too far, but always check. So I forgot this design. They want to get the eyelets. They want to paint the eyelet area. Like, let me do it like that. They want to paint the eyelet area, so I have to take the shoelaces out. The good thing about this Air Force thing is like it's in the middle, so as long as you take the shoelaces out and you don't move this around, you know where the middle is, and it'll make it easier when you relace them. So I'm going to unlace these bad boys real quick. And again, make sure you have no paint on your desk while you're doing this, because if you accidentally put these white laces in some paint, granted you can get more white laces, but it's kind of a pain in the butt, right? And we're trying to keep our costs as low as possible too, that part. Wish you could see this a little bit better, but it is what it is. Let me turn my chat thing off just for the YouTube video. It'll be annoying. Yeah, but I think this is working smoothly, which I like. Okay, sorry, I was just paused it to make sure my live was working on YouTube, so sorry you heard my voice twice. Or the double music. Okay, let me go back to this dashboard. Really appreciate the people I have watching. I mean, honestly, it's one person, but you know, I'll take it. Okay, so this is the last part. So now I'm at like the nitty gritty. Dang it. Sorry, I want to focus. Now I'm at the nitty gritty. So what I do is I just pull this and then pull up. Pull straight up. So this stays in the middle, so it's easier for when you have to relace it. And then you just pop these bad boys out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I always just throw that on the ground somewhere. Okay, so now we're back. We want to make sure we don't paint this, but that's pretty easy. And you don't want to paint the tags. It's really hard to repair a tag if you actually put paint on it. It's really hard. So that's one of the things. It's like mesh, a little bit easier. The tag, kind of screwed. So don't accidentally put paint on there if you're trying to leave this tab white. Alright, now let's get back to the mixing. And let's put the shoe to the side just because we don't want any... We don't want any paint on it accidentally. I've made accidents, and trust me, it's just easier to not make them and to like do whatever you can to prevent them, because it just makes your life a lot easier in the end. Alright, so I'm gonna put this. I think I got enough blue to kind of work with. I'm kind of swirling it around. If you don't have a lot of paint, you can make it work. You just have to be careful, and having the thinner helps a lot. So this paint isn't horrible. It's like a 1:4 ratio, so I'm just going to put like a little tiny splash in here. Hopefully it starts to focus. Come on, focus. You can do it, camera. It's not the best, but it's something. Alright, so put a little splash in here. Alright, that's good. Just a little something. That white little part, just a little something. Okay, so let's mix that together. Turn this blue over because I know I'm gonna need more blue, but you know, I almost want to put more in now opposed to later, just so I can mix this color. I have like multiple layers of it without having to go back. And there we go. I just dropped some paint. So it's gonna be a pain in the ass to clean up later. It wasn't horrible, but you always want to make sure you keep your white shoe out of the danger zone in case some shit like that happens. And I'm not looking forward to try to get acetone. I mean, get paint out my carpet. But if you ever do get paint somewhere you don't want it, clean it up quicker rather than later. I'm gonna be lazy and say fuck it. Oh, and I got it on my thigh. That's great. And I'm wearing shorts today, so that's gonna be seen. And I got some on my arm. But I don't think I got any on my uniform. I'm wearing my uniform before. Oh yeah, I got it on my pants, but I got black pants. That's easy to fix. So anyway, make sure you always keep stuff out the danger zone, because you know stuff happens. You knock over paint, you spill stuff, you drop stuff. Just always try to keep it out the danger zone. And remember, before I touch my shoe again, I have to clean my hands. So I'll probably mix this paint first and then go wash my hands just to guarantee that I truly don't have any paint on my hands, because I don't want to contaminate my white shoe in the parts that I want to leave white. That's when you have a disaster. Okay, so I'm only going to do one shoe now. I'll probably do the other shoe later. But for the new viewer we spilled a little paint, and we're getting past that. We're mixing this to navy, and they're about to paint our Air Force One shoe. That's a low. I already put a little bit of thinner in here because I don't have a lot of paint, so I'm trying to stretch it. But also, I was down to the wire, and when you get down to the wire, your paint usually thickens naturally. So you never want thick paint, always thin it. Now I want thin it with water. I don't know if it's possible, but like thin it with Angelus Too Thin, something that's made to thin paint safely. Okay, so I just use a dab. I think you guys kind of see it. I just use a dab of black. Black goes a long way, so only use a dab, especially when you don't have a lot of paint. You don't want to ruin. I don't have any paint to waste, so you don't want to ruin it. Slowly add the black till it gets where you want to go. And what I do is I just use the top, so I can just kind of dab my blue in there without like affecting the rest of the black. So I can see it slowly getting darker. I might add a little bit more Too Thin too, because I added more blue paint to this. That was kind of a lot of black. That was ambitious, but let's hope for the best. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Didn't ruin it. Good. And the Angelus navy, like navy is typically very, 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 very black. So we're gonna have to do a couple more, and I'm just gonna have to be patient and not try to rush the process. Like that was kind of a little bit much, so I'll put some on the side. We're getting there. And the good thing about this shoe, this lady is a woman size 6, so I don't have a lot of paint, but I can make it work because it's not a size 12. We're still not there yet, so let's take this, put it in here. I'm gonna add a little bit Too Thin now because I can tell it's already too thick. That's gonna make my life a lot easier anyway, so do it now, post it later. Just a little bit. It's a 1:4 ratio, so. And I already added a little bit, so I'm gonna add like another little squirt like that. Another little tiny drop. There we go. You know, sometimes I'm like lazy and I just want to be quick with it, but it's best to just take your time. Because once you take your time, you lessen mistakes. And that means less work in the future and less money you have to spend fixing your mistakes. Because sometimes you have to buy stuff to fix your mistake, and nobody wants to do that. Okay. I think we're pretty close to navy. Like, I don't want to add too much more black. I think we're good. I might add a smidge more because I remember looking on the Angelus site. I think the navy was a little bit blacker than this, so add a little bit more. But we're really close. See how I'm slowly adding? I know it's so boring. I'm sorry for my first viewer who's here. We're about to start painting in like a minute. So if you could hold off for a minute of this paint, like a minute longer. See how I had excess black. So it's like, let's not get crazy with it. Let's just put it to the side and mix what we got. We can always add that other black later. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Not there yet, but I'm gonna add this. I think maybe once we add this black, we'll be done. What I like to do is when I get the paint to like an area, I'm like, okay, this is it. And I have a client who specifically requested this color. I just Google navy blue. Is this close to what blue gives me? I mean, what Google gives me. If it is, then we're good. There's some of these blues there, and there's no shot they're navy blue. You're acting wild, Google. But this one is close to that. This one's a little darker. This one's a little more saturated. So, let's go to Google because I'm at Bing because I'm trying to use my Internet Explorer tab for streams, and Bing is just not the same as Google. It's just not. Oh, what? Is you? Oh, okay, cool. I was like, is my live not updating? But it is. It freaked me out for a second. I just had to, because I forgot with YouTube, you can kind of like go backwards when in the live is on. That's wild. So I thought it froze, but it didn't. Okay, so now I'm in Google. I'm gonna search navy blue to see, do I need to try to add more saturation to it? Did I make it too dark? And also, I think I can make it a little darker, to be honest. Also, I'm gonna type in Angelus. Because if this navy blue matches Angelus Paint navy blue, then we're good. Because that's the one I was gonna buy anyway. That's a little bit darker, so yeah, that's the one I was gonna buy anyway. So as long as I can get it close to Angelus Paint version, we're good. So it's a little bit darker. It's a little bit darker, and sometimes, like when you're getting on a shoe, it brightens up or darkens up. Like I forget which one it is. I don't know if it's both, but I know it's one or the other. Sometimes when you're getting on the shoe, it and it dries, it changes the color a little bit. So you can always paint like a little section, especially if you're kind of like hesitant like me. Like, where are we at with this? How do we feel? We could paint a little section. I think that's what we're about to do, and see where we go from there. Might add a little bit thinner. Like, it's not bad, but I still feel like it's not as loose as Angelus Paint usually is, and I need to stretch this anyway, so I'm gonna add like a little bit more. Now remember, they said a 1:4 ratio, so 4 parts paint, 1 part. 4 parts paint, 1 part you know what I mean, too thin. So always kind of keep that in mind when you're adding something. To be on the safe side, you should mix your paint all the way first and then add the thin, because then you can really see, okay, this is 1/4 of that. But I wanted to build mine up just because I knew it would be easier to mix it once I put the thin in. I think this is exactly like Angelus. I'm trying to make sure. Like, I might not wash my hands, but before I touch the white shoes, you definitely gotta do like a hand check and just like get a little paper towel and be like, all right, like nothing coming up on here. Okay, cool. And there is a little something coming up, so if I do grab it, I might grab like the rubber, so it's easier to wipe acetone off rubber than it is to like mesh, you know. Thanks for stopping in, guys. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and hit a follow. I don't even know if you hit a follow yet. No, you haven't. Okay. I don't have my alerts set up, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm just gonna have to shout people out and they give me the follow, and that is okay for now. So yeah, this paint looks exactly like, I don't feel like sharing my screen, but it looks exactly like the Angelus navy blue paint. That's all we were trying to achieve. So we are good there. So let's start painting now. And as I said, let me go back to my dashboard. As I said, be careful with what you touch because my hands are kind of blue. Let me get back in the comfortable spot. Okay, so this is going to stay the same. So we're going to do this, this, and the eyelets. Oh yeah, this is looking good. So always be careful around the edges. I think this pan's a little thinner than I would like, but at the same time, I'd rather have it too thin. I have to do multiple thin coats, which you're supposed to do anyway. Make sure your coats are very thin. I'd rather have multiple thin coats, knowing it's not going to hinder the flexibility properties of Angelus Paint, than have a thick coat, which can definitely hinder the properties of Angelus, its flexibility properties of Angelus Paint. Need some new brushes because this is kind of a pain. Kind of a pain to do just because the brush I have isn't a good brush anymore. It was good when it first started, but I've had it too long. It's been through too much, seen too many things. So now we're painting. Now, to be fair, I don't know if we prepped the eyelet area. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna panic. I'm just gonna go ahead and rub some acetone over the parts I have not painted. I'm not gonna wipe this off because I don't think it's that serious of an issue. We haven't gotten super far, and just wiping it off would just be a disaster. But I do want to prep the rest of it, you know. I'm just going to make the executive call too. Yes, I messed up and I forgot to prep this section of the eyelet. But the other ones are going to be good. So let's just go ahead and do that now. Try to get my brush. Some people airbrush and I don't. So what I like to do is I like to make sure my brush lines are uniform, neat, and then when I go over it a second time, it'll be like really good. I'll just make it easier on yourself and make sure your brush strokes are neat. Okay. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thanks for stopping in. So I prep all the other areas, but I don't do the eyelet a lot, so I forgot to prep this. So I'm just going to go ahead and acetone off the finisher. In an instance like this, where you do make a mistake, it's better not to just double down. Let's go ahead to like do the areas that you can, but I don't think it's important enough to take off what I started. So sometimes when you're working on shoes, you gotta be like, you know, you gotta make a tough decision like that. You're gonna make mistakes. You know, it happens. This is my first tutorial. It happens. We're not gonna double down on it. We're gonna fix what we can. We're gonna keep it moving. I would be a little worried if it were like the crease. You know, this part creases a lot. This part creases a lot because it's just where your toes naturally bend. So I'd be worried if it was the crease. Eyelets, it's not creasing that much, so I'm not worried about the paint, you know, falling off and not adhering well. But yeah, I think that's good enough. I forgot I'm not doing that other shoe right now. So this would definitely be good for this. Yep. Shit happens sometimes, guys. You just gotta go with it. Just trying to clean off my fingers a little bit with the acetone. If you do get a lot of acetone on yourself, like a lot of paint on yourself, you can clean it with acetone. But before you retouch your shoes again, just kind of like wipe your hands and make sure, okay, like I'm not leaving blue marks everywhere because I did not wash my hands after I spilled paint on me. But you just want to make sure it's dry. Okay, now we're going back in. I am gonna dip my paint in this water and clean my brush a little bit because I'm sure the paint dried. Maybe not a lot, but some. It don't have to be super clean. I just want it to be a little bit clean. So now let's finish going over the rest of this because I want to make sure my second coat is uniform. So we're not going to go over that first part yet. We're just going to go over, we're going to finish this first. I'm not going to go over this part yet. I'm just going to finish this layer. And then we'll go back as a whole. And with parts like this, you know, paint is kind of therapeutic because you have to go slow. Because I want to leave this white. So if I'm going crazy, I'm going to put some paint over there, and I don't want to put paint over there. This doesn't matter too much because I need to color this in anyway, right? So I can kind of go crazy, whatever. But this is better if you're just patient and slow. And make sure there's no spillage. So we have prepped our shoe, we have mixed our paint, and now we're slowly painting. You guys can't see too much just because of the, I want to feel focused, just because of the, yeah, I don't think I have my, like, my continuous autofocus on. It's irritating. Like, I want to turn it on, but at the same time I move around a lot, so kind of defeats the purpose. But because of the glare, you can't really see. There's some brush strokes in here. Like, it's my first layer, so it's not going to be completely filled in. You want to do thin layers. It's not completely filled in. It's kind of transparent. You can still see, like, this isn't the color I want. I haven't really achieved the color I want yet. That's okay, because we're going to go over this 2-3 more times. You know, for the case of the video, I might not do all sections of this 2 or 3 more times, just so the video, I'm gonna save this on YouTube, so just so the video is not super long. I wonder if I have to have a setting to save this on YouTube. Like, I hope that's not the case. Should probably look into that, huh? So what I'll do is when I'm like trying to do an edge, like I pull it away from me. I guess that makes sense. So like if my brush does happen to go over that little edge onto the toe box, like it won't go into the toe box. So if it goes over the edge, fine, because it's at an angle where it won't go over the toe box. So it just makes painting with precision a lot easier when you kind of do it like that. You kind of lean away from it. Because when you lean into it, if you put it on the toe box, oh, it's on the toe box. But if you're kind of like overhanging it, it's most likely not gonna, yep, it's not gonna hit that toe box. It's just convenient because now I can paint a lot faster by doing that. Before I was like trying to be like all cute. Now I'm actually like hitting some type of speed. So it's like, this is not gonna take me 50 million years to do because of that hack. See? Oh yeah. It tilts it away from you and you can go. The little things in life. But when you have a lot of orders, like eventually, like if you're trying to do this for yourself or for friends or family, for Christmas or something, like you might get a lot of orders, and efficiency is everything. Like nobody want to try to be sitting here forever painting the shoe, and it always takes at least 2 times as long as you think it's going to take, at least. So if you could have these small little hacks, it makes it so much better. Now I'm just kind of going over my brush strokes to make sure they're nice and consent. I don't know. That's not the right word. I don't think that's a word. My wife come back before she goes to work? I don't think so. Thought she was. Oh, maybe she, I think she works at 10 today, so she actually might be back. I'm pretty sure that's her. Hey, baby. Okay. You coming in or no? Okay, I got you. Alright, that was her calling for me to get the groceries, so I'm gonna get those real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry, one more thing. Before you walk away, try to just, I don't know if you see in the second camera, try to clean your paintbrush off. Because even if you walk away for a minute, like that paint can dry and also ruin your brush too. That's one of the reasons my brushes be messed up quick. It can ruin your brush, but also it's just like, it just makes it so much easier so you don't have to like come back and use acetone on your brush because your brush is all hardened with paint, you know. So just go ahead and get it all clean so when you get back, you're ready to go. But I'll be right back. But yeah, I understand your situation. It's a little bit different. Okay, I'm back. Should change like my thumbnail for my live streams, but it's my first one, so You live, you learn. I like to put a lot of paint when I know I'm about to like go over the threads. I just put a lot of paint on my brush because you know, threads eat it up and it's gotta like get in the holes, you know. So I just go ahead and put a lot on in that situation. Like I try to do, paint away from you. That way if you go over the edge, it's not detrimental. Be really careful with mesh because once you mess up, it's kind of hard to fix it. So I'll go real slow in this little area. Ooh, that second layer of the navy looks nice. It's the first time I went over it with the second layer. Looks real nice. Hope everybody's having a good morning. My morning's been eventful. I was able to get this done. I thought I was gonna have to do it when I got home from work, like at 11 p.m. But turns out I was able to do it before work, so that's nice. And when I get home from work, I'll design some mock-ups for a client, get that done, hang out the wife, and then go to sleep. At least while I'm at work, I won't have to worry about this. So it'll already be done. Okay, so that's done. Now let's move on to this part. I guess I could do this part, but for some reason I'm in the mood to do this. So this paintbrush is kind of small. I'll do this little crevice too. I like doing this little crevice. Just I like the fine little details. So I did that little crevice up there. Looks nice. So yeah, this paintbrush is kind of small for this. I might end up switching to my other paintbrush. I think I will. Just for efficiency, like I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this one. So when I want to use it again, I can. Now my problem is, like, I don't usually switch paintbrushes. Like, I'm trying to put on a show for y'all and tell you the right thing to do. But like, I'll double down with a big paintbrush and try to get in the tiniest crevice with a big paintbrush and like mess up my shoe. Granted, it's a fix that I can fix. You know, it's a mess up I can fix, but still. So I got this bad boy. You can really see that the bristles are frayed a little bit. I need another one. But it's nice to have this angle flat brush so you can get in like the corners. You'll see what I mean. See how I'm getting so much more coverage on this guy. So much more coverage on this guy than I got on the other one. What was that? I feel like that was that sound came from something. That was the first time I heard that sound. Okay, so I don't know if somebody gave me some bits, some tips, a chat, whatever. But I heard that sound and I know it came from something. I don't know where it came from, but thank you. See, like, this is a perfect area where I probably should have had my other brush for this, right? But I don't want to have to reuse it and rewash it. Just lazy problems. So a good tip to have, especially in areas where you crease a lot, is to go like create your brush strokes with the area the creases will occur. So it's a pain in the butt, but sometimes I will do this, like, because the creases are going to occur this way. So in this area where I know there's going to be some creases, I'll paint like this. It's just a pain. So if you kind of do that, and then you go up, it's a little bit better and less painful for you. But it does suck. It's just a tidbit I found out. Now, do I do it all the time? no, because it's a pain in the butt. But you know what you can do to make sure that there are no creases? Thin layers, especially in the area where you know the creasing is going to occur. And right here is like one of the trigger spots. I just hate the way these brush strokes look when you do it that way, you know? But for base 1, you can probably do it. And then for the second one, then we'll go the other way. Something got on my brush. Sorry, I forgot you guys can't see. So yeah, right here is like the trigger spots where creases occur, like the danger zone, I guess you could say. Right there where your toes like bend at when you walk. So you want to go up because the creases are going to occur up. Now if I were painting this area, I would go across because the creases are going to go across. Definitely need new paintbrushes, bro. Definitely need new paintbrushes. I was like, is my live not updating with this? Just checking my YouTube to make sure it's actually playing the live. It should be though. It's loading. It's taking a minute. Alright, there we go. Just be real careful around the edges. I like to hold it away from me, but again, I'm trying to show y'all what I'm doing, so some instances and it's gonna work out for you. Well, if you're not streaming, you should better hold it away from you and have better chance of succeeding from making a mess. It'll just be easier. And you'll see me eventually get some paint in the spot that doesn't need paint. Being very careful right now, but usually it happens. But it's better to try to avoid it because it just makes cleanup in the end, like your last step, a lot easier. Go quick now, work harder later. Babe, you can take my drinks out the freezer if you need to. I said you can take my drinks out the freezer. Oh, okay. See how that's light? You can see my brush a little bit. It's all frayed, so it makes it difficult. Get a good brush. Don't reuse brushes a million times like I do. Like, by getting a good brush, I mean, you can spend like $5 on it. I'm not saying you gotta spend $20 on one brush. Just know when it's time to retire it is basically what I'm saying. Just make your life a lot easier. So I might like leave some of these areas for the small brush. But I think I can get to it without needing that small brush. Sometimes I just kind of like try to forcefully get as much paint out my brush as I can. But you don't want to waste paint, so that's kind of what I did. I didn't have a lot of paint left, but I was like, let me just smudge it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would like that. Nah, I don't necessarily remember the crispy ones, but I'm down. I thought you did that with chicken wings. You do it with the thighs too?
Yeah, baby, I done did the thighs so many times. I did them for Kay and them too when they was here.
Oh, okay.
You done had them plenty of times. You love them.
I mean, when I eat them, I'll probably be like, oh, these are the ones.
Yeah, you love them. I just season them really good.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, I think I'm gonna do that.
Got this area. And smash? Oh yeah, because we got extra potatoes.
Yes.
That sounds good. I mean, you know, there's no pressure. If you get home and you tired, then you ain't got to.
I'm cooking tonight because I would have to have leftovers.
For lunch?
Yeah, I know. So
yep. Thank you, baby.
No, I'm not gonna take my for lunch. I'm gonna take my for dinner.
You just gonna eat it for dinner when you get back home from work. No what? Oh.
So what proof do you need that was not insurance?
I mean, I just figure they need the insurance people to reach out and just type a letter. When people ask for shit like that, I just be like, I guess you just want to type letter. Or like screenshot. Yeah, they get on enough for a screenshot. So I might leave this part white. So I'm trying to. I already painted a little bit of that tab blue. So then I'm gonna commit and paint the whole little side of the tab blue, but I'm gonna leave the skull, the red. It's messing up my flow. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that white for now. Again, like with this and this, I might come back and color it, but I might not. So I'm just gonna leave it white and see how it looks when everything else is fleshed out. If I feel like, oh, I need to paint it, then I'll paint it. If I'm like, oh, this looks clean, then I'll leave it. You know, this is kind of boring, but thanks for staying and watching, guys. It's funny because pretty much anybody can customize a shoe. And this is super easy design, so granted, everybody can't like customize some of the hard stuff. I ain't gonna lie, it gets a little crazy, but like anybody can really customize a basic Air Force like this. I just wanted to show people how. So they wanted this area left white. I think it's a little weird, but like the customer is always right, you know. So I'm gonna go do this side now. It's not. I've been had it like that in Remember Old Farm. Yeah. It's really stable. I made sure. I made sure that thing was tight. In both areas. I got a little bit of blue on here, but when you ever make a mistake, just try to hurry up and fix it. I'm gonna put orange up there. Oh, good. Cause I was like, I thought baby said she got me something, but I was like, let me just put some body armor in the fridge. Ain't about to have me out here delivering tired. No siree, bub. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow my Kick. If you're on Kick, make sure you follow my YouTube. My designs definitely get way more complex than this, but a customer ordered this and I was like, this is the perfect starter design for people who are wanting to customize shoes. So I had to record a tutorial for it. times it? Because I want to stop at 10 o'clock. I was like 10 o'clock now. Eesh. I'm gonna do it like 20 more minutes. Because then I'll leave me 20 more minutes to get ready before I go to work. And really all I gotta do is put some water in a bottle and heat up pizza for lunch. And like I gotta do anything crazy. And like I gotta really get ready because I did that already this morning. Got my uniform on. Only y'all just can't see it. Usually I put a face cam, but this is my first like work stream. I used to stream video games a lot, but I've been taking my business a lot more seriously. So I haven't streamed video games. I haven't played video games in a long time. Gotta prioritize. Eventually, I'll get there, but I'd much rather have my business take off. So, if you could really see, you would know this needs a second layer for sure. But what I'm gonna do is... What'd you find? Oh, bread cheese! It's pizza! Oh man, that's gonna be so good! It's like greasy pepperoni with the cheese. Trader Joe's? I'll be looking for it everywhere I go. I had no idea.
Yeah, and that's the cheapest.
Oh, I think you did used to get it from there at some points because you said it was cheaper. Granted, it was bigger, but yeah. And I think the other quality was a little better, but I'll take it. I'll take what I can get her. So I want to go to orange. I just don't feel like cleaning this brush out the way I need to be able to go over the orange and it not turn into another color. So I just cleaned this off. I'm gonna leave it there if I want to go back into my blue. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use this tiny one for orange because all I need to do is to swoosh. Always make sure your paint is closed before you start mixing shit. Always mix it together before you use it. I use Angelus Paint. Honestly, the best paint to use for customizing. Like all the big time people use it. Now what I should do is probably like get it out the way so I don't accidentally knock it over. Okay, so this is what we got so far. This, sorry, I keep forgetting. I need to focus on one angle. This. And you can see I need to go back and go over it because you can kind of see the transparency through the paint. But that's okay. I'll go do another layer when y'all aren't here probably. There we got this. Now we just got to paint the swoosh orange. I already used acetone to get the finisher off. Now we just paint. Okay, sometimes that works better than others. Got a little excess paint on there, that's okay. So when I have like when I accidentally get more paint than I want, what I'll do is I'll just put it on the treads. Because they require a lot more paint than other areas of the shoe because of the holes and because the thread is actually like what? Cotton, so it just soaks it up. So it requires a little bit more paint, so when I actually put more paint on, I'll just go over that. No biggie. And I always try to paint like away from me. Sorry for repeating myself, but there's new people who come in, so I like to make sure they get all the info. I like to paint away from me, so that way if your paintbrush does go over the swoosh, it's not messing up anything behind it. Try to get my brush strokes like the same way. They'll go away a little bit more after I get that second layer on here. Like I said, try to paint away from you. I'm not doing that in this instance, but I'm gonna make sure you guys get a good shot. I guess never mind, it's not a good shot like I thought it was, so might as well turn it around anyway. Did I just do? Okay, my bad. Let me mute my tab. Alright, there we go. I think this is looking good. Sorry. There we go. I don't have an autofocus on. So yeah, now I gotta go over the navy again. I gotta do a second layer of the navy and the orange. But before you do a second layer, you always want to let it dry for like 3 minutes. So I just move on to another section. Then I come back. Alright, so I'll try to paint away from you. So I'm gonna start on this side. Oh, I forgot about that orange. Yep, it's not fully dry, so I gotta kind of hold it a little bit. Kinda sucks, but it is what it is. Got a little bit of orange paint down there on the blue side, but that's okay. I'm doing another layer, and the blue is darker than the orange, so it'll cover it up for sure. It would be nice if I could. Dang. I forgot I gotta bottle that blue up because I'm not gonna finish the shoe, and I don't want my blue paint to get dried out because I don't have enough, and I don't want to have to recreate the color. So before I go to work, I'm gonna have to do that. I wanted to be able to do my other clients' mock-ups before going to work, but I don't have time to get ready for work. Bottle up that paint and do the mock-ups and do the string. Some gonna have to get left out. So as you guys can see, I'm only doing one now, just for tutorial purposes. I'll do the other one later. I can always go quicker when I don't have to explain myself. Don't have to have like the perfect camera angle, you know. So I'll do that later, because these are a rush delivery for this client. But I want to let you see the process. But typically what I'll do is like, I'll maybe do like this whole side of the shoe, let it dry. By this side, I mean like maybe, yeah, probably the eyelets and this swoosh. Let it dry and then do the other one and then come back and do the other side. That way I don't have to awkwardly hold it. Sometimes it works out. It doesn't make sense all the time, but sometimes I'll do it that way. Now I'm trying to see. Wait. Just wait. And you know what? I think I'm into here. Give me like I just don't want to have to go over this, and I want to be able to work quicker. You guys got a really good synopsis of like what's going on. So definitely do your second layer. Sometimes you need a third layer. If you ever get any paint somewhere you don't want it, you can always do like 100% acetone nail polish remover and like a napkin. Just be careful to smudge, not to smudge what you don't want, but just get the stuff that you do want off it. And do your double check before you gloss it. But everything looks good and you got your second, third layer and you got no little paint places where it don't need to be, then you put your finisher on top. And as always, get Angelus everything. I don't think it's gonna focus like I want it to. I have the high gloss because I think it looks cute, but a lot of people like matte if you're doing shoes. And then all you do is use the same paintbrush, go over everything you painted. Don't do the white areas because that just messes up. You don't want double finisher. Just put the gloss over the places that you painted. Let it dry for like 10 minutes. Don't touch it, and then you're good to go. So I didn't do the whole entire process, but I might come back on later and finish it up. But that's basically it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and follow. And I'll see you later.